This morning, we are talking to someone who might be just like you.
Upside down in their home and considering their options.
This could be your next door neighbor.
Coming right up.
Good morning, I'm Barry Horvath, and this is Moving Forward TV, your local real estate and mortgage update.
And I am DeLynn Gaston. Thanks for joining us this morning. Going over the three options that are facing most homeowners today, like we have been for the last couple of weeks. Option number one.
Option number one being to modify that loan,
right,
or consider one of the many government HARP loan programs that are out there.
Refinancing, right? Absolutely a good option. Option number two.
Option number two is that icky, dreaded,
the one we want to avoid.
Scary foreclosure.
If at all possible, avoid that. And option number three.
Option number three would be that short sale.
And that is the one that we're getting most of our inquiries, questions that are flying into us lately on, that everybody wants to know more about.
And of course, Florida being number two, only behind Nevada.
Woohoo, number two.
Number two, kind of like the Bucks and the Cowboys this weekend, but that's another story.
You and your football.
I just had to go there.
I take it they both lost.
They did both lose this weekend.
Sorry.
But anyway, Florida's number two. 45% of the Bay Area is still in a potential short sale, upside down, or foreclosure situation.
And of course, if you are in one of those situations where you're underwater in your home and you're considering your options, short sale being one of those options, then this is a great show for you, because we have on the show today a seller who has already been through the short sale process, someone who is in your shoes.
Today we have Kevin McCullough with us. Kevin is the director of a local law firm here in the Bay Area. He's also a real estate agent. He has also been through the short sale process and in the mortgage industry for some time.
Kevin has graciously agreed to be with us today because he has been in your shoes. He is an investor, several investment properties that he's had, and he's had to go through the short sale process. So he's going to give us some information on that today. But before we get there, here is a quick message.
Hello again. Another tip for you would be home inspections naturally, but here in Florida, especially if you're buying a home and it's 30 years or older and you're going to insure it with Citizens, who isn't, you will be required to have what they call a 4-point inspection, which is separate from your home inspection. They will not accept the home inspection in lieu of it. A 4-point inspection is basically it. 4 points of concern. One is the roof, current condition and or upgrades. Electrical system, same. Plumbing, air conditioning, and heating. The insurance company needs to know, wants to know, and has a right to know the current condition and or upgrades of those particular items. So I get all of that information in my home inspection. The difference is if there are deficiencies present during the home inspection, there's no sense giving you a 4-point inspection that is not going to pass. Then you have to get it fixed. Then I have to come back, charge you again, and re-inspect. So during the inspection, if all goes well, I can add that into the price and everything else too. If it's not, we can talk about that later. But it's something you should be aware of because it is mandated by the insurance companies.
Kevin, first of all, thanks for taking time out of your day and joining us today. I know your schedule is probably really packed, but thanks for joining us on the show today.
Thanks a lot, Barry. I'm very happy to be here.
So my first question today is, you know, you have background in real estate, you did investment of real estate, you are a real estate agent, your background at the law firm. Why was a short sale the decision that you chose?
Well, Barry, a short sale is what I think is the best option. When you have trouble paying the mortgage, you have trouble looking at where the value of your property is compared to the amount of money that you owe, you have to make a decision. You're at a crossroads. And the quickest and easiest way for me, and I think for most people, is to go and list your house and try to get a short sale accomplished.
Kind of funny that he says the short way, huh?
The short way, yeah. There's nothing short
Short
about
sale.
a short sale.
Yeah,
We
so
all
we've
know
heard,
that.
right? I guess you kind of learned that, huh?
Sure.
So obviously you were impacted financially when the market started to collapse. So it probably brought on a lifestyle change for you. I mean, you had things going on in your life, just like we all do.
Right.
So obviously the market collapse and probably had a financial impact on you and your family. And
Well, yeah, it is. It was a difficult time. With that, I had multiple properties, 5 at once, that were basically mortgaged to the hilt. And
ooh, we haven't used that, mortgage to the hilt.
I
That's
know.
better than equity
But
inverted.
that, you know, back in those years, mortgage to the hilt.
like
Back in
that.
those years, everybody was mortgaged to the hilt, right? And then, boom.
Yeah, he did probably a 125 loan program. Remember those? 125%.
yeah.
Scary.
Well, I looked at my portfolio basically, and I had mortgages over $1 million and values at around 500,000.
Wow.
Wow.
So had to make a decision.
He was
and,
equity inverted.
Talk about equity inverted, huh?
Wow.
Upside down, underwater.
The big problem or question for me was how many years am I going to be trying to keep these properties afloat with tenants paying rent or leaky ceilings that I have to go fix for a tenant, all while taking care of my own house and family. Those expenses, in addition to sometimes even having to throw a little extra in just to pay those mortgages, really left me with my hands tied.
So this then was basically a financial decision for you, just to shave all that negative equity.
Right.
So because you were mortgaged to the hilt per se, and there was no light at the end of this tunnel.
Catching up $500,000 in underwater.
That's a big.
That's a big no.
That's a tall order.
Yes.
That might take more than a lifetime.
So
At the law office, we call it a strategic bankruptcy or a strategic decision.
Right.
So you did file bankruptcy during this process. Now, that's one of the misnomers out there is people think, oh, I filed bankruptcy and I can just walk away completely.
And everything's good.
Yeah, it's all. But is that the truth to the matter? I mean that helps. The bankruptcy will stop the foreclosure, as we talked about a couple of weeks ago.
In some cases.
But
Well, what had happened with me is one of my properties, which was a beach house in Bradenton Beach, they started to foreclose on me. As the foreclosure documents were served to me, I went to the attorneys that I worked with and asked for how to best respond to these things, because when you're served, you have to respond. Otherwise, the bank will get an automatic default, and then basically the game is over and a lot quicker of a tragedy for you.
and then you could be carrying deficiency judgments for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
So-
So my attorney delayed the process and sent in the response to the courts and allowed me a little bit more time to figure out what else I was going to do with the other properties. The decision was then basically I should file bankruptcy so that I can get rid of and out from underneath all of these upside down mortgages that were rental and investment properties.
Okay, but you still, even though you filed bankruptcy, you still chose to go ahead and short sale that property. I mean, that stopped the bank, but it didn't make them go away per se.
Right.
It was still looming out there. So why did you go forward then? What other challenges were there outside of just the bank? You filed bankruptcy. You got the bank off your back for now.
But that's just the bank.
Well, the short sale was a decision, a no-brainer decision, because at the end of the day, if the short sale closes, the bank has made a decision to approve that sale, to take some money rather than no money. If I wasn't sending in any more mortgage payments at that point. So now I'm giving the bank a decision to make where can they take $80,000 or get nothing? If they get nothing, then that's a greater deficiency liability on me.
Okay.
So the short sale was definitely...
So it would seem like the best decision for you at the time. What about your HOA? What about the county, the taxes, all that stuff? Even though you filed the bankruptcy.
Well, the bankruptcy did get me out of the mortgages, so I had that one headache relieved. But I still had tenants that were unsure of what was going to happen, how long it was going to be that they were going to be able to stay in my place. And then the tenants started leaving. I was still obligated to cut the grass because the county came by and put a sticker on the door that said, you need to cut this. It needs to stay 12 inches or below, or we're going to come back and fine you. The homeowners association dues needed to be paid. Otherwise, I'm sticking it to the rest of the neighbors that were in the community. So the short sale was the quickest way for me to get to the ends of the means.
So instead of spending his Sunday enjoying his family and watching football,
I knew he'd get football in there.
Well, we had to get in there. Kevin's having to go mow this lawn on a property he wants nothing to do with. That's, you know, probably was mowing that lawn was probably not something you really enjoyed doing. That's had to be like
not easy to put the riding mower on the back of the trailer.
No, so I can understand that. So what about the whole short sale process? Was it grueling? You know,
I know, because he keeps on saying the shorter way.
Yeah, the shorter way.
Which I have to chuckle at.
Yeah, we don't know anything short about a short sale. So what was the process like? Was that?
The process was fairly easy. Listed it with a realtor, and that realtor then communicated with the title company. And then the people at the title company pretty much did most of the communicating with the bank. They'd ask me for financial documents, a hardship letter, and some of the basics that the bank was going to require from me. But then they were pretty much my liaison so that I didn't have to do anything.
Well, that's awesome. But what about, okay, so the short sale's done and over with.
Short sale was accomplished. There was a couple different offers that came in. The real estate agent would send it over to the bank would sit on it for a few days, getting the appropriate people to make the okay or the denial that they didn't like the number, and so there was a little bit of back and forth with a couple different offers. But finally, an offer came through, that enough time had gone by to where the bank made the decision and said, okay, we will accept this short sale.
So they accepted far less than you owed on the property, basically.
One of the properties that I short sold, it was purchased for $117,000 by me, and then 3 years later, short sold for $28,000.
Wow.
Oh my gosh,
Yikes.
$28,000, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had that property cash flowing at $117,000. That investor that picked it up at $28,000 surely is a happy person now.
Oh, I'm sure, so.
You know, so in the end, you know, short sales are good. They're good for the seller because it got you out from underneath something that would take you a lifetime to continue to pay back. In your case, a new investor got that property and is going to be doing fine with it. But tell us credit. I think one of the things that people have a hard time with, you know, they've got great credit and everything, and this is going to make my credit go bad. And I know that that's something that's near and dear to everyone's heart.
Oh, absolutely.
Sure. The main reason for the short sale is the credit.
Right.
When you're in foreclosure or basically not paying your mortgage, every 30 days you're scoring more negative points on your credit. And so my credit went from a 740 all the way down to a 511.
Wow.
I had stopped paying on 4 or 5 different mortgages.
Right.
And the only mortgages that I kept was my primary residence. The bankruptcy did allow me to keep my primary residence, keep my vehicle, keep my house in order. It was just really the rental properties and the bad investment decisions because I didn't know what the market was going to do.
Right.
That
So
really
so you were at 700, went down to a 510. After you were done with the short sale, your bankruptcy and all,
once the bankruptcy was completed, I started working on making sure that I was well ahead of time with my primary mortgage, the equity line. I had a car payment and a student loan because the student loans and tax liens are not dischargeable in a bankruptcy.
Okay.
So I continued to pay on those trade lines. The student loan helped because then I had an active trade line to help raise that score. So 12 months after the bankruptcy, I pulled my credit again, and it was a 700.
Wow, that's
Nice,
amazing.
Nice.
So,
See, so that if people can come back. Kevin is proof. You can come back. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. If this happens to you, this is the best decision that he could have made for him and his family. And it's not the end of the world. You can come back from it. So definitely consider that.
I think that sounds like, I mean, this is middle America right here.
Right.
And Kevin, you're gracious to share all your personal information right here with us. And guys, it's not, like DeLynn said, it's not the end of the world. There is recovery. There is light at the end of the tunnel. So
Kevin's proof.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today. This has been an awesome, awesome show, and just to hear a real person that's been through it, it's actually amazing. And just to hear, you know, all of the equity or equity inverted situation he was in.
Here he goes.
Hey, no slapping me now. You know, I mean, look how much debt he shed over, you know, just in this one particular situation. How many other people are like that?
That's our show this week. Thanks so much for joining us, and thanks to Kevin again for being with us. That was a lot of really helpful information. So if you are in a situation like that, Kevin is here. He has also agreed to answer questions. If anybody has any questions or something like that, we do have his information down below here. You can click on that, get his phone number.
And Kevin's a real person, just like, you know, he's just like middle America. I mean, what a great heartfelt story from Kevin. So don't forget, look us up on Facebook, Twitter.
Right.
You can call us, email us.
We can answer these questions. Kevin is one of many people that we know of who have gone through these situations, and we're here to help you get through those. So by all means, call us, Facebook, email, Twitter, whatever you want to do, get a hold of us. We can answer all of your questions. We also have our team members over here who help us get through everything that to get loans done, short sales done, closings done, new business done. They help us. They can help you as new homeowners as well, get everything that you need to. We are today and every day
moving forward.
Thanks. We'll see everybody next week. Bye-bye.